Hello and welcome back to a very cold John's Workshop, and in this video we're going to be looking at a hydraulic indicator stand, DTI stand, whatever you want to call it, with a magnetic base on it. So this was a gift. I'm going to say gift. It was going to go in the bin at my employer. It was bought for a certain job and it's never been used for that job. And I know just by looking at it and also by knowing the company and what it actually does and its understanding of all things machining that this will have had absolutely no use at all, or no proper use, and it's just fallen into disrepair and needs fixing. So it was going to go in the bin, so I snaffled it and said I'll fix that, thank you very much. So that's what we're going to do. As I said, it's brand new. I know for a fact it will have had zero use, and it's got a brand new more and right indicator on it as well, a waterproof one, which is very nice, which again will have had zero use, so well worth saving. And for my regular viewers, you might be saying, hang on John, 2 videos in 2 weeks, what's the story? Well, I'm unemployed. It's brilliant. I'm not really unemployed. I've left my existing job that I've been in for 5 years that's been incredibly demanding, which is why my output has been pretty poor recently, and I'm between jobs, so I'm starting a new job in the new year, which will come with its own challenges again, I'm sure, but in the meantime it's given me a little bit of time in the workshop which is long overdue, so I'm just trying to get 1 or 2 things done. And there may be some more videos, there may not, before I start the new job, but after 38 years of being in work solidly, it's nice to have a few weeks off. I don't think I've ever had 5 or 6 weeks off anywhere since I was at school, so that's quite nice, albeit I've picked the wrong time of year to do it because it's freezing in here. Anyway, right, all that being said, let's get into it, see if we can fix this thing. So, here is said indicator stand with indicator. It's all more and right, so it's a more and right indicator, waterproof one with a 0.01mm resolution. It's even got a gator on the needle, if you like, on the plunger, which I'm presuming is part of the waterproofing idea. It's got the sort of plus minus range sort of indicators, if you want to call them that. It's not the right word, but you know what I mean, on the clock itself. And yeah, it feels like brand new because it is brand new really in terms of how much use it's had. And then we've got a magnetic more and right base, which I've not tested yet, and then we've got the very sloppy stand. Doesn't matter what you do with this is just not doing anything. It's not tightening up, it's not gripping. This is a hydraulic version. There's various different types of these. There's ones where you have a plunger, you have bits of steel in here and the plunger just tightens up onto the bits of steel, and you've got cups at each end like a ball and socket kind of joint that tightens up. There's that style, and then there's this style, which I knew as soon as I saw it was a hydraulic version, where you have hydraulic oil in here in this middle bit, and as you wind this in there's a piston underneath here which will go into the oil, compress the oil and create pressure. There will still be rods in here and a cup and ball type thing at each end, but it's all driven hydraulically rather than mechanically. And my guess is either the O-rings have perished or somebody's really over tightened this at some point unnecessarily or whatever, and we've lost the oil. There's no even attempt to get any kind of pressure on this at all when you tighten it up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this DTI so that we don't damage it while we're messing around with the stand. So I'll get that done off camera, nothing really to see there, and then we'll start stripping this down and see if my hunch is correct. Okay, let's start to have a look at this and find out instantly whether I've got this assumption right or whether this is going to be far more complicated. I think this is going to be a dead simple quick fix, but I might be wrong. So we'll have a look. I've never had one of these things apart before, but I do understand the principle of how they work. So we'll take the tightening knob off, And I already had a look in here and I saw this, which I know is a piston. That's how I knew this was a hydraulic version. I've not done any more than just see it. I've not had this out. I don't know how easy it's going to be to get this out. We'll get a bit of help. This should just pull out, and I'm presuming it's got O-rings or something on it. Oh, there we go. So we've got a piston there with 2 O-rings on it. There's lots of black, which says to me that the O-rings have probably either degraded or worn out or something, or been chewed away, I don't know, or it could just be the oil. Give that a quick clean. They don't actually look too bad. I'll have a closer look at those. I'm obviously got it up to the camera at the minute so you can see it, but I'll have a closer look at those and see whether I think they need changed, if they're damaged or split, and I'll come back and let you know. If they're not damaged and this is good to go, I think all we need to do is top this up with a bit of hydraulic oil and see. But before I do that, I just want to give this a good inspection, make sure that these O-rings are in good order. Okay, we've had a close inspection of these. They're not brilliant, but they're not totally worn out. And when I put this back in here, I've just had a bit of rag in here and cleaned out the bore, made sure the bore's all clean, made sure this is all clean and there's no high spots. There's a little bit of rust on the externals of the piston in between the rings, but that shouldn't affect anything. I've given it a wipe, and when I put this in here, it's actually pushing back against my pressure, against the air pressure that's in there now. So I think those O-rings are going to be okay. Now, I did have a look at my O-ring collection, and I've got nothing that's right for this, and trying to make an O-ring up at this diameter is quite difficult, as you can imagine, so it's going to be hard to make one. So what I'm going to do is go with the O-rings we've got. If it leaks again, I know what size I need. It's 7mm by 1mm is what I need, or 7mm OD, which will be 5mm ID by 1mm section. So if I need to buy some, that's what I'll do. But for now, we're just going to top this up with a bit of hydraulic oil. So here we have some hydraulic oil. So the challenge now is to get some of that into that tiny little hole, and I think we need like a few drips. So you can have a good old laugh at me while I try and do this on camera. I've got a little tiny funnel, and we're just going to put a tiny little bit in, he says, and watch it go all over the bench and anywhere but in the indicator stand. I have no idea how much we need to put in here, not a clue, but we'll put a bit in until it says it's not thirsty anymore. Which is about there by the looks of it. Now we're going to put the piston in and cover myself in oil as it all squirts out. Yeah, just under finger pressure, that's starting to tighten up. There's too much oil in there now. I thought that might happen. So we'll just take a bit back out with a rag until we can get the piston in. Talk amongst yourselves, as they say. Feels probably better. Let's have a look. I'm going to be able to get the thingy on. Yes, I am. Okay. So, the moment of truth, which you can't see, of course. Let's put it back down on the table. Yep. That's solid now, at the top, at the bottom and in the middle. I can't hear or see any oil squeezing out anywhere out of any of the joints. Well, that was easy, wasn't it? Well, what we'll do is give that a quick wipe up, get the hydraulic oil off it, test the magnet out, put the DTI back in, and I think we'll put that one up as a win. I'll just have a bit of a clean up and bring you back. Okay, so we've tested out the magnet, and very good strong magnet, that's fine, and obviously the stand all moves and articulates as it should. When you take the pressure off, so happy with that. The only downgrade was the rubber bellows that were on here. When I looked at those closer and I was putting this back together, they looked like they've perished. They weren't very clever, so I've just taken those off. Don't need waterproof in here. None of my other indicators have got that on, so that's not a problem. So for 10 minutes work, I've got myself a nice Moore and Wright indicator and magnetic stand. One of the easiest videos I've ever made, I think. Nice job. Hope you enjoyed it. If anybody else has got one of these that's not working properly, they all work on pretty much the same principle as this, the hydraulic ones, so there's not that much to it. We'll go back to the board and finish this one off. Well, there you go, that was easy, wasn't it? That's not probably the most interesting video in the world, but it might help somebody, and it was something I just wanted to do quickly and just test. Done it. I thought I might as well film it just in case it helps somebody else out along the way who's got something similar. So with all of that being said, I can now go back to being thoroughly unemployed again, and you might see me in a week or so's time, who knows, if I get up to something else in here in the next couple of 3 weeks or over Christmas. I'll put another video up if that's the case, and until such point, thank you all very, very much for watching. Thank you to my existing subscribers, long-time subscribers, and again apologies that my content's been a bit poor recently, but I'm still here, still kicking, so we'll keep going when we get the time. If you've come here new, thank you for coming along. Have a look in the back catalogue, lots of much more educational videos than this one, and hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll catch you all very soon on another video when we'll be making something else.